Hey, Miss Decode.
Welcome to Med Decode.
We are diving into a topic that I think makes almost everyone feel at least a little bit guilty. Our relationship with social media.
Oh, absolutely.
We all know that feeling, right? You're just scrolling and you feel completely exhausted. We have a great way of saying it.
Feeling exhausted from scrolling.
Exactly. And you wonder, is this just me? Is it a personal failure? Or is this technology actually, damaging our mental health?
That is the million-dollar question. And for years, the research has been frustratingly inconsistent.
Why is that?
Because most studies just relied on self-reported data. They'd ask people, hey, how many hours did you scroll last week? And people just guess. They have no idea.
And they probably lie a little to feel better.
Of course. But you've sent us this incredible deep dive into a new study that just bypasses all that guesswork. It uses objective data with a technique called digital phenotyping.
Digital phenotyping. Okay. That sounds like some kind of high-tech lie detector for your phone habits.
That's a great way to put it. Essentially, it is. It uses the digital breadcrumbs you leave behind. Your actual usage logs, screen time, how often you open an app to measure behavior objectively.
So no more guessing?
None.
Oh.
Our mission today is to cut through all that noise and get to the objective truth. What actually harms our mental state? And can a short, sharp detox really fix it? Let me just say, the answer is really counterintuitive.
I love counterintuitive. Let's start right there. For years, the big idea has been that total screen time, or Ken, is the original sin.
Right. 5 hours is bad, 1 hour is good.
Exactly. But this research just completely turns that on its head, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. This is the first major paradigm shift from the study. They looked at those objective numbers, daily screen time, how many times people opened Instagram or TikTok.
And
what they found was astonishing. These metrics had a very weak, or in some cases a statistically non-significant, association with symptoms of depression, anxiety, loneliness, or insomnia.
Okay, hold on. I have to stop you there. So you're telling me, and you're telling everyone listening, that if my phone's weekly report says I spent 25 hours on social media, that number alone isn't what's making me anxious.
That is exactly what the data says.
So where do I put all this screen time guilt I've been carrying for like a decade?
You can put that guilt right in the dumpster. The clock is not the villain here. What matters is the psychology behind your use, the way you use it.
So it's the how, not the how long.
Precisely. The real problem is something they categorize as problematic social media use, or PSMU. This is what captures the toxic emotional states we get into while we're scrolling.
Okay, let's unpack PSMU then, because that sounds like the real core of the problem. What turns just, casual scrolling into something harmful?
It is the core. And the study really zeroed in on two primary forms of this that were tightly correlated with bad mental outcomes.
All right, give us the first one.
The first one is negative social media comparison, NSMCS.
Ah, the classic trap.
It's the classic trap. You're scrolling through these perfectly curated highlight reels, seeing everyone else's perfect life, perfect vacation, perfect family, and you start feeling inadequate. You feel, as the study puts it,
Feeling that you're just not good enough. That is painfully relatable. We have all been there.
And that feeling, that constant comparison, it has real psychological fallout. Higher scores on this negative comparison scale were strongly associated with two things in particular: anxiety and insomnia.
Insomnia, that makes sense. Your brain is just buzzing with comparison, so you can't shut it off.
You're fueling this state of hyperarousal. It prevents relaxation. It prevents sleep. Comparison isn't just the thief of joy. It's the thief of sleep.
Wow. Okay, so what's the second toxic behavior?
The second is addictive use, which they call BSMAS. Now, this isn't about the content you're seeing. It's about the compulsive nature of the act itself.
The physical habit.
Yes. It's feeling forced, compelled, emotionally dependent on the platform. It's that twitchy urge to check notifications, feeling antsy if your phone isn't right there.
The need to refresh the feed, even though you just did it 3 seconds ago.
Exactly that. And this addictive compulsive pattern was highly correlated with the most severe symptom they measured: depressive symptoms.
So if you're using it because you feel like you have to, not because you want to.
That's the key. That behavior reinforces a cycle of dependence and low mood.
So the message for you listening is pretty clear then. Stop staring at the timer on your screen time report.
Please stop.
And start focusing on why you're picking up the phone. It is not about the quantity of scrolling. It is all about the quality of your mindset when you're doing it.
If you're comparing yourself or you're just compulsively checking, the damage is already being done, whether it's for 5 minutes or 5 hours.
Speaking of interventions, let's get to the experiment itself. The 7-day social media detox. A group of young adults, average age around 21, they voluntarily took this on. How did they do? Did they stick with it?
They were remarkably committed. They were targeting the big five: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and what was then Twitter, now X. And objectively, they slashed their daily social media use from an average of, get this, 1.9 hours down to just 0.5 hours.
Whoa, that is a huge drop,
Yeah.
nearly 75% cut.
Yeah.
So the big question is, did that week of sacrifice actually pay off? Did it do anything for their mental health?
The results were immediate, and they were statistically significant across the board. It was like a fast-acting medicine for the mind.
Okay, give us the numbers.
For depression symptoms, they saw an average reduction of 24.8%.
Almost a quarter of their symptoms
Yeah.
gone in 7 days.
Gone. Anxiety symptoms dropped by an average of 16.1%. And insomnia symptoms, that trouble sleeping, decreased by 14.5%.
Wow. I mean, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, those numbers make a very, very strong case for just taking a planned short break.
Absolutely. But now we get to the really fascinating detail, the part that reinforces our earlier point about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So while they aggressively cut social media, the objective data from their phones showed their overall behavior only changed a tiny bit. They spent a little more time at home. Home time went up by about 43 minutes a day.
Okay, that makes sense.
But here's the kicker. Their SOOC, total screen duration, actually went up slightly, by 4.5%.
Wait, their total screen time went up. So they basically just traded scrolling through toxic Instagram feeds for, what, binge watching an extra season of a show on Netflix?
That's the most likely implication, yes. They swapped one kind of screen time for another. And this is monumental because it confirms that the huge mental health benefit came from cutting out the problematic use, the comparison, the addiction.
Not from just, staring at a screen less or going outside more.
Exactly. It wasn't about a generalized reduction in screen exposure. The poison wasn't the screen. It was the comparison.
That really reframes the whole goal, doesn't it? It's not about ditching your phone. It's about being ruthless about which apps you engage with, the mindset you bring to them.
Yes. The device is a tool. The way we use certain apps can be the poison.
Okay, now let's talk about who this helps the most. The benefits you just listed were averages. Did everybody get the same boost?
No, and this is where the results get really encouraging, especially for anyone listening who feels like they're carrying a heavier emotional burden, what the study calls superhuman cult. The detox worked best for those who needed it most.
So the more you're struggling, the more a break helps.
Precisely. Participants who started out with moderately severe depression, or MSD, they saw the most profound results. I mean, truly profound.
So big of a change.
For that group, they experienced a reduction of roughly 48% in both their depressive and their anxiety symptoms, and a 35% drop in insomnia.
Almost half of their severe symptoms vanished in a single week.
It's clinically astonishing, and it gives us a really clear, practical takeaway. If you are truly overwhelmed, a structured 7-day break could be the single fastest way to get substantial relief. It's like a reset button.
Now, we have to talk about the catch, the big nuance here, the loneliness paradox.
Right.
Because while anxiety, depression, and insomnia all got significantly better, their reported feeling of loneliness did not really change. Why?
This is one of the most vital insights from the whole study, I think. Social media platforms, for all their flaws, do serve a function. They help us maintain these weak social ties, right? They give us this superficial sense of community.
A feeling of connection, even if it's not very deep.
Exactly. So when the participants cut the cord, they got rid of the bad stuff, the comparison, the addiction, but they also lost those tiny points of contact.
So they were less anxious about their own lives, but they didn't actually feel more connected to other people. They just created a vacuum where the scroll used to be.
You've nailed it. Loneliness is a deeper problem that needs a proactive solution. Just quitting Instagram doesn't magically create meaningful, real-world connections. It just proves that the detox deals with your internal comparison problem, but it doesn't solve your external connection problem.
Which gives us another huge practical takeaway. If your main goal is to feel less lonely, just quitting social media is not enough. You have to actively pair that detox with, yummy, real-world stuff.
A detox can stabilize your mind, but connection takes effort.
Okay, let's boil all this down into a couple of core takeaways for everyone listening.
Practical lesson 1 is the mantra for this whole deep dive. Cheech, quality over quantity. Stop micromanaging the minutes on your phone.
Just ignore the number.
Ignore it. Focus all your energy on identifying and stopping the negative comparison and the compulsive checking. That's the real toxin.
And lesson 2 is the promise of cease. Short-term attempt, quick improvement. If you're feeling really stressed out, you don't need to go live in a cave for a year. A structured 7-day break can give you fast, substantial results.
And finally, of course, we always have to mention the fine print, the limitations.
Right.
This was a cohort study, not a gold standard randomized control trial or RCT. The participants chose to be in the study.
Which means we have selection bias. We can't say for sure the detox caused the improvement, just that they were strongly linked. The people who signed up were probably already super motivated to change.
Absolutely. And the other big limitation is there was no follow-up period. We don't know about the durability of these effects.
Did the depression come roaring back 2 weeks later when they logged back on?
We don't know. Future studies need to look at that. But the finding of quick relief is still incredibly powerful.
It really is. This research has completely shifted the conversation away from just managing time on a device and toward managing the psychological state of comparison. It gives us a much clearer target for digital wellness.
The fact that they saw these massive benefits while actually increasing other screen time slightly just confirms it. The issue isn't screens. The issue is the self-inflicted psychological wound of constant comparison.
So here's the final provocative thought for you to take away. This study proves that if you cut out the anxiety and depression driven by that negative comparison, you create this huge amount of new mental space. The real work isn't just quitting the comparison. The real work is deciding what productive, joyful, or connection-building activity you're ready to fill that empty scrolling time with.
And that's a wrap on this episode of MedDecode. I really appreciate you joining me today. If something we talked about sparked your interest, or if there's a medical term that's been bugging you, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, be a pal and share it with a friend. We'll catch you on the next one.